Hey everybody, Nick here, and today we're going to do a little disassembly and maintenance on this little guy right here. This is the Olamic Cutlery Busker. This guy is currently running very nicely, but I gotta do the disassembly for the video, so let's go ahead and take it down here. This is not a very big knife, in case you haven't noticed. In fact, I would say that it is small. But that's okay, at least to my personal taste, and I find it a pretty compelling design nonetheless. But so funny story. Story time. First day I got this guy. I come home from work after going to the post office. Had this guy in my pocket, and I come home. I drop things off. I go live on Instagram, and I take this guy apart. And immediately into the live stream on the live, the Olamic guy, Eugene from Olamic, comes in and says, "Nick, are you disassembling it already?" And yes, I am. I have a problem, okay, Olamic? Don't judge me. I don't think he was judging me too bad. But anyways, so, this has been disassembled already, is the roundabout way to say that. But I've gone ahead and removed these 3 screws, as well as the pivot screw here. These were T6 Torx. This is T8. T6 is something I'm not in love with, but on a knife of this size, I kind of get it. This is to a point where you kind of need to do that. And we should now be able to pop this guy right off, and here we go. So what we can see here immediately is some, well, nice touches. First off, you can see there has been some milling. Some of these are positioning holes and whatnot, but you can see things like there is a lock bar insert here, coupled with an over-travel stop, which is nice, especially with the lock bar is relatively thin as this guy. That's very nice. You can see here, what else? The lanyard hole is nicely done here. You can see there is titanium here, but they are using a stainless steel washer on top of the titanium for the bearings. Right here, they are using conventional steel bearings, but what looks to be a ceramic detent ball there. No real argument there. Right here is the backspacer, and the backspacer on this guy is particularly beautiful. It's got a very nice S sort of pattern on here. This was something that I ordered, specifically because I saw it and thought it was just freaking gorgeous. They've done a nice anodization to it. You can also see here, perhaps more clearly, that they've gone ahead and they've engraved it with the BO44S. And that's, I gather, the serial number on it. You can see here a couple of things on the blade. You can see this detent ball ramp. Holy crap, look at that detent ball ramp. That's a seriously nice touch. And it's something that always makes a knife just feel better in the hand, even if it doesn't have a major effect on the action. It's nicer to open and close the knife with the detent ball ramp, and then you can see that that's pretty much it. There is not a whole lot going on here. So, that's very nice. Let's go on ahead and put this little guy back together after doing a little bit of cleaning. This guy's gotten some pocket time since I first got it, actually a considerable amount of it, partly because I wanted to get the review out before the end of the year, which should be a nice thing. For reasons that will become clear towards the end of the year, and partly because well, I like it a lot, frankly. It's a nice freaking knife. The spoiler alert, but it really is. They've done a lot of things right here, and in a lot of ways, they've made a very, very Nick Shabazz-ish knife. This is kind of directly to my taste. It's a small knife. It's got a fidget factor of 5,000. It's just, there's a lot of joy here. And so, to me at least, that's been very nice and very exciting. So it's been something I enjoy. Let's put this guy back here, and then keep washing this guy off. So it's gotten a lot more pocket time already. And when I'm about to say something very kind or very harsh, I will usually do a fair amount of extra carry just to make sure that I'm, being accurate here. Because the last thing I want to do is carry something and then, give it a very nice rating and then realize, wait a second, no, that wasn't very good. Or vice versa. Give something a terrible rating and then say, oh, wait a second, hold on, I missed something. This was very nice. Extreme, what is it? Extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. And not that some jackass carrying a knife counts as evidence, but in my weird little world, it kind of does. So, there you go. One thing to note, also, that I didn't mention is that this is a Torx screw. You will see that is different than the Olamic Swish and the Olamic 247, both of which used a stupid proprietary pivot. Not proprietary snake bite pivot, but nonetheless. And they included the tool, so, it's but that's ugly. And so I'm thrilled to see that they have stopped doing that for the Busker's sake. That was not a great move, and they've remediated that particular sin. So it's great. You remediate sins, atone for it, I guess. I don't know. That makes it sound more spiritual. Like I have atoned for proprietary screws. Like Eugene from Olamic spent many years out in the desert, trying to come to terms with what he had wrought on the world with his selection of fasteners. For all I know, maybe he did. Who knows? There are deserts in California where they're at, right? I don't know. Whatever. Either way, the atonement has occurred, and as a result, the screws on this guy are actually just fine. No freaking problems. So that's good. You can see there, I just cleaned out the pivot a little bit here, and now finally we're going to go ahead and drop this washer back into the position. There we go. Put that there. Beautiful. One little thing is I noticed the washer isn't quite as big as the cutout here. That's fine. It'll be located by the pivot, but one of very few details that's not quite exact. Doesn't super need to be, though. All right. Let's go ahead. Polish this guy up here. You can usually, with anodization, brighten it up a little bit more using something like Windex that removes oils. That tends to make it run just a little bit as I throw washers around. Cool. But anyways, that tends to make things just a little bit brighter. Alrighty, let's go ahead and start with the reassembly. I'm going to go ahead and use 10 weight nano oil on this guy. The reason I'm using the 10 weight is because it has a very nice action and I want to promote that. So let's go ahead and I put a little bit on the pivot here. I'm just going to kind of use the hole here for the pivot to do some rotation. Maybe. Is that? Did I put this on the right side? Is this free spinning? Oh, that's right. That's right. Okay, take a look at this, guys. Right here, hopefully you can see, there is a little sort of shelf on this guy. The shelf on the pivot, which is a lot like the elf on the shelf. And then there is another shelf over here, which is what prevents the pivot from spinning freely, which is a beautiful thing, and it's just something I forgot to account for when I put the pivot into position. So if your pivot's not fully engaging, you need to put the elf up on the shelf there, or the pivot on the shelf, or whatever. So, yeah, there we go. Let's go ahead and put that there. Beautiful. Let's go ahead and put the bearing in place here. Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. Drop that there. So, did I just do this backwards? I may have just done this backwards. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm doing this backwards. Because I removed the screws. No. It's not backwards, because I removed the screws all at once from one side. Okay, we're good. We're good. Pardon me. Back it up there. All right, so let's go ahead and drop the blade into here. Actually appears to be a little bit of a burr on the edge of the, interesting, look at that. A little tiny bit of a burr on the edge of that guy. So let me grab, right quick, a little sharpening stone and knock that down just a bit. Shouldn't have any effect on, well, anything, but it is something I'm not super duper keen on. There we go. It's knocked down. All right. So, what am I doing here? I am putting a little bit of lubrication into the system here. I'm using the pen, by the way. This is the same oil, nano oil, that you can buy everywhere else. I'm just using it in the pen form because it makes it a little easier not to use quite as much of it. Because I do have a tendency towards over-lubrication, like I just did right there. So you can see here, it makes it harder for me to do that, but I power through with my over-lubrication. Speaking of which, let's put a little bit there. Okay, put a little bit there, a little bit here. Drop a washer in there. Let's rotate the washer a little bit. Then I'm going to go ahead and put this little washer right on top of it after applying excessive lubrication to it. Oh, come off it. Don't fight me here. I'm the human. I'm going to win this. There we go. Come on. There we go. And let's go ahead and put this back together. Drop this onto there. The backspacer fits pretty tightly, which is a sign of tight tolerances, which is a beautiful thing. All right, that snapped itself right back together. now let's reapply the pivot. Apply. It's not the term I'm after. Let's reinsert the pivot. There we go. I guess you can think about it as application. What the heck do I know? You're hearing voices. It's not your inevitable descent into madness. Well, maybe it is, but some of those voices at least belong to English people being naughty in whatever show my the fiance is watching. It's naughty in the social sense, by the way, not in the why is the plumber taking his pants off sense. At least, I don't think she's watching that. More power to her if she is. Moving on. Back at the ranch. There we go. Just making sure I've got everything aligned properly. And now let's drop these guys in here. Switch back to T6 and use a little bit of thread locker as before. There we go. Slide that into here. Beautiful. Here we go. Slide this into here. And the sharpening stone is scaring me because I would rather not hit the blade against the sharpening stone because that would just, well, that wouldn't be super stellar. That's for damn sure. And let's go ahead and put this in here. There we are. All right, so let's see where we're at here. Pivot is very smooth. Whoa, that's smooth. Let's go ahead and tighten this down very slightly here. Just see. There we go. That's... Oh, there. Beautiful. Back together. Centering is very, very slightly off. Or is it the grind that's very, very slight? I don't know. I'll take a closer look at that. But either way, the knife is now running beautifully. Let me tweak this tension a little bit more. Just loosened it up just a scotch. Let's see if I can, by loosening the pivot screws here, not the pivot screws, the body screws here, see if I can influence that slight bit of decentralization. Wow, there you go. It's the that's the technical term right there. Oh yeah. Oh, that action. Good and smooth. There you go. Centralization appears to have been achieved. Alrighty, so there you go. That it right here is your Olamic Busker. And I hope this has been interesting to you. Here, let me actually, I think I've got a nice cleaning cloth here. Polish this up slightly so you can see a little better. Use a little tiny bit of glasses cleaner, actually. A little tiny bit. I'm going to coat my entire work surface in a 3-inch deep layer of glasses cleaner, such that you can see, just beautifully, this Damascus in all of its glory, with the heat ionization and everything. Yeah, that's pretty nice. Alrighty, so anyways, there you go. That is the Olamic Busker. It is running beautifully now. Beautiful. Hope this has been interesting to you, and that you have yourselves a buskin' spectacular rest of your day. Bye now.